Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Future Digital Finance webinar with Mountain, High Yield Advertising, What's Driving Financial Service Firms to Connected TV. Thank you for joining us. Today, we'll dive into how your financial organization can maximize CTV advertising to make every ad dollar go further for less. If you have any questions for our speaker today, feel free to submit them at any time during this presentation using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And now I'll hand it over to Stephen from Mountain.
Hey everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. As we discussed, today's presentation is called High Yield Advertising. We're going to be looking at what's really driving financial service firms to the connected TV ad platform. So a little bit about me. I'm the content marketing manager at Mountain. I've been here for going on 2 years. Previously, before that, I was a fintech company that worked in data analytics for credit unions. Before that, I was in cybersecurity and compliance for an international firm. And then in another lifetime ago, actually, I was a personal banker for a large banking chain. So a little bit of background that kind of ties myself to the topic at hand today. So what we're going to discuss today is, kind of alluded to it, why connected TV is really becoming this powerful and popular tool for financial service firms, regardless of the niche, the size, the geographical location, and how they're using the platform to unlock new opportunities. We're going to be discussing that through a few different sections today. We're going to be looking at why 2022 was the platform's best year yet. We're going to be looking at why how financial service marketers are using the platform to really maximize their ad spend, justify their ad budgets, stretch every ad dollar further. We're going to be looking at what makes it such a powerful tool for financial institutions and how they are using it in that way and their strategies. And then we're going to be looking at Mountain Performance TV and how it really takes the CTV, the powerful tools that I just talked about, and kind of takes it one step further with some targeting methods, testing capabilities, and fully transparent insights that are just not available elsewhere. So I just talked about how CTV had the best year yet. It's something that we kind of been talking about a lot around Mountain. This year, I think we saw the ad channel really kind of evolve into the platform that it's always promised it could be, really kind of delivering on those lofty aspirations that early adopters kind of were hoping for when they got in. We are seeing subscriptions rising. Brands are spending more on ads. More people are obviously cutting the cord and switching over to streaming. Brands are following their audiences over. There's more inventory available. Ad budgets are increasing. In fact, this summer in July, streaming beat broadcast and cable television and viewership for the first time ever, which was a huge watershed moment for the platform, and I think legitimizing it. And then the landscape changed. This year, if anybody here, I assume everybody here streams some kind of content, you've probably noticed there's been a lot of shakeups in the industry. We've seen Warner Brothers Discovery take control of HBO Max. They announced that they are going to be combining Discovery Plus with HBO Max next year. I just saw actually yesterday, it sounds like they might even be dropping the HBO name out of it and just calling it Max, which I think is that's a pretty big shakeup, right? The idea of HBO as a brand kind of being dropped off. And then Disney, they have majority ownership stake in Hulu, and they are rumored to be looking at combining Hulu with Disney Plus, or doing something with these two competing services that they have. It sounds like a lot of people, including the head of NBCU, thinks that it's going to be a combination. So we're seeing a lot of shakeups in the industry. We're seeing a lot of foundation being built for another big year in 2023. So all the leading streaming services right now are embracing ads. That's another big part of this shakeup this year. Netflix launched ad support earlier, about a month ago, I think. And that was, I think, a big moment. Netflix always previously prided itself on being ad-free. That was kind of their distinguishing characteristic. And now they're all in on it. I saw Reed Hastings, the co-CEO of Netflix, just said the other day that he wishes they did it sooner. And he was pointing to who's success. And I think that speaks to really the power of ad-supported streaming for these services, that if a stalwart holdout like Netflix is not only getting in on it, but publicly saying we should have done this sooner, I think that really that's a bit of a wake-up call. Disney Plus, they are launching their ad support on Thursday, so 2 days from now. And this increase in services, these are joining HBO Max, Peacock, Hulu. All these are offering premium must-see content for less. So the ad-supported offerings are allowing viewers to get into streaming, see this must-see content, pay less money to do so, and kind of willingly agree to sign up for ads in the meantime. It boosts subscription numbers for these services, and it gets people streaming more content than ever. And this increase in services and subscriptions and viewership and ad inventory, it's really this growing momentum for the platform. And it's building an exciting future for advertising that we're going to go into right now. So what is that future of advertising? Well, CTV is the most financially friendly, cost-effective ad platform available. I truly believe that. Every ad dollar is fully targeted. You can make sure that you are not wasting a single cent on an audience member that is unlikely to convert. You are finding the audience that matters most. You are delivering high-impact messaging when they're relaxing with their favorite shows and receptive to ads. And then you're able to fully measure what that return on ad spend is, how well that ad campaign ran in real time, anytime. Traditional marketing materials that financial service firms use don't really drive that same kind of return on investment. Again, I come from a background, like I said, when I was a personal banker, it was a national chain, but it was for a small, or it was for in a small suburb. And we relied on a lot of these kind of methods to get people in the door. It's really casting a large net, right, to bring audiences in. We did things like direct mailers, community events, linear TV ads, but they're not always as effective. Direct mailers is obviously a bit of passive advertising. I don't know about you all. I get a lot of mail, especially right now, this time of year. And it stacks up in the mailbox, and you bring it in, and it's the end of the workday, and it gets put in the counter, and kids come home, and dinner's being made, and everything's chaos. And I'm not even looking at this until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. Probably not my most receptive to that particular ad. Community events, they're good visibility, I think, especially for smaller to mid-sized banks and credit unions and things like that. It's great to show you're part of the community, you're engaged with everyone, but you're still competing for attention at high traffic events. It's really kind of hard to stand out maybe when you have dozens and hundreds of competing vendors. And then linear TV ads. I kind of just touched on this, but they're not targetable, they're unmeasurable. And then, if you are a smaller to mid-sized firm or bank or credit union, you probably don't have the budget. Creating ads cost a lot of money. And if you are able to make an ad, the inventory that you can afford is often in the middle of the day, or on a channel or a time slot or TV show that isn't driving the highest amount of traffic. So, this is how CTV really stands out. It really makes it, like I said earlier, you're not looking to cast this large net and hoping to catch a few fish and maybe somebody comes in the lobby. You're not sitting around and just hoping that this direct mailer that went out or this linear TV ad that aired at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekday is going to eventually turn somebody into the lobby and into a new customer or a member. With CTV, you're actively converting in all given moments. It targets your exact audience. Like I said, it's fully measurable. And I think the key thing, again, is just that no cent is being wasted. It gives you accountability to prove that your investment paid off. When you're in financial service marketing, you're used to promoting methods that, cut costs and drive high returns and maximize your ad dollars and your investments. And CTV is an ad platform that really kind of practices what you're preaching, right? It allows you to show that you are making every cent well spent. Especially effective right now when I think there's a little bit of economic anxiety. and marketing teams are looking to kind of tighten their belts a little bit. There's a need for every ad dollar to really be justified, and marketing teams to justify their spending. CTV gives you that accountability and that transparent reporting to let you do that. So I kind of talked about why CTV is a good platform for financial service firms. We wanted to learn more about how it's being used and why it's being used. And WBR and Mount, actually, we talked to 100 leading marketers at financial service firms across the United States and Canada, and kind of got some insight into how they're using the platform, their concerns, what they like about it. We're going to dive into all that here in a minute. But just from the top, I kind of wanted to look at, you can see the types of firms and the approximate revenue of who we pulled. So overwhelmingly 20% actually is insurance, 18% commercial banks, 17% for both investment banks and mortgages. Brokerage firms made up 15%, and capital markets groups made up 13% of our respondents. As for revenue, the overwhelming majority had a 1 billion plus approximate revenue. But the next category was, or next down the list was 300 million to 500 million. So you can see here on the list, 800 million, 1 billion. We really had kind of a range of sizes and types of firms that we pulled. So, despite being a newer marketing channel, CTV has been around for several years now, but it obviously has not been around as long as linear television. Yet it's almost caught up to linear TV for financial service marketers. And that's actually really driving a lot of business decisions in 2023. We're already seeing that. 58% say they currently run linear TV ads, but 54% say they currently run CTV ads. So that gap between these two is really closing. I think that's pretty remarkable for the short period of time. And again, linear TV has been around for what, 8 decades? And it's been kind of a bread and butter for a lot of organizations, and CTV is closing that gap fast. 58% actually are saying that CTV ads are going to be a priority for their financial service firm in 2023. So why is it a priority? Why is it closing that gap? We asked, and respondents said it best linear in measurement. When we asked which channel is very effective at measuring performance, you can see here that 50% said CTV, half the respondents, and 40% said linear. Obviously, that's an interesting stat. That's a great stat for CTV, but we weren't done there. We wanted to know more, so we asked why. The overwhelming majority, 75%, told us that it's lack of visibility in reporting metrics that makes linear less of a measurement or a performance channel. 50% said CTV is beating linear because linear you're unable to set performance KPIs. 25% said linear is too focused on awareness, which probably makes sense because again, the measurement. 25% said a lack of time or resources for analysis. And another 25% said unsure how to measure performance. These last two categories we're going to touch on in a minute, but I think that speaks to, again, some of the smaller to mid-sized firms that we interviewed. Not everybody has the budget or the large teams to be combing through the data, and especially with linear TV, you kind of have to take some extra steps, and there's more hoops to jump through to really see how your campaigns are performing. And whether it's, again, teams, money, or just straight up education on it, not everybody has the time and resources to dedicate to that. And that's making CTV stand out further with those firms. So we talked about how, just a second ago, how 2023, we're going to see CTV more of a focus. Digital spending in general, we found out, is going to increase for the respondents that we pulled. 68% said they're increasing their digital budgets next year. Only 5% said they're going to decrease somewhat. And as digital budgets are growing, again, we're seeing CTV gain popularity, more people are streaming, and then there's more channels serving ads. All this kind of coalescing into the channel becoming more popular and rising in priority with financial service firms. This is a big opportunity. It's a fast-growing platform that finds its audience. It's giving you the transparent insights. It's, again, maximizing every ad dollar spent. And it's complementing your other ad channels and strategies. You don't have to go take your existing table and flip it. And I think especially interesting for financial brands is that there's low competition right now. But with everything I just went over, with the fact that the gap between linear and CTV is closing, with the fact that digital spending is on the rise, brands are investing more in CTV, more audiences are watching, that low competition is going to be shrinking fast in 2023 and beyond. So, we talked to these firms, we found out why they like CTV, but we also, want to get a little more information, right? Make it a little challenging. So we asked them what their objections were to CTV. What's keeping the brands that are not on CTV, what's keeping them away? And we got some critical feedback on this. Despite the CTV as a platform gaining in popularity, there are some hurdles that are preventing firms from embracing the platform. And we're going to be going through those objections and kind of look at how you can solve those with connected TV in general, but especially premium service platforms like Mountain Performance TV. So first up, this is probably not too surprising. 55% told us that creating CTV content is too challenging. I just talked about this a second ago with linear TV ads. It's expensive. It's challenging. Everybody thinks, I think in their minds that, oh, I can make a TV ad, or this can't be too hard, or it's hard. Again, if you are a smaller to mid-sized firm, you might not have the budget or the personnel or the resources or just the time to put together ads. There are solutions in this. And actually, Mountain is pretty proud to have a few solutions for this. Quick Frame by Mountain. You've probably heard that we help brands meet the increased need for video, producing high impact quality videos affordably at scale. Not just for CTV either, for social, everything else you need. So it can really be kind of repurposed in a lot of different areas. We also have the Creative as a subscription. This is a great way to get custom-made, high-performing creative regularly. I think it was every quarter, and you're getting it on just for buying the media that you're going to buy anyway to deploy the ads. So you commit to, you buy the media to deploy the ads. You're getting ad creative to go with it. This is great. This saves, again, this saves time, money, energy. There's really no excuse now for anybody to say, I can't be on TV. I don't have the ads. I don't have the means. This has been removing a lot of barriers for getting brands on CTV. The majority of our clients actually are businesses that have never been on TV before. And we are able to leverage that through the power of the Performance TV platform. And again, these capabilities that make ads for customers and get them on. The next objection we saw is that CTV involves just too many manual processes. And again, that makes sense, right? You're working on linear TV and it's a pain and you're jumping through these hoops to get feedback and analytics, and maybe it's delayed response on how your campaign's performing. You have to do postmortems, and it understands why brands would be nervous about CTV having too many processes and hoops to jump through. And again, especially if you have a lack of resources for time. Mountain Performance TV is actually filling in or solving for that challenge. We're able to automatically optimize your ad thousands of times a day. No input on your part required. So, you upload the ad, you set your budget, you find your target audience segments, you deploy the ad, and our platform is able to take it from there and really optimize and make sure that you are getting the maximum return on your ad spend and that your ad is performing to the best of its capabilities. We also give you full control too. It's not just hands-off. So you can, if you want to get in there, you can tweak targeting, you can pause and resume spending, you can optimize and update creative. You can also get real-time reporting. You don't have to send in requests or go through all these hoops to try to get data, and we come back and say, okay, well, we'll turn around and give you a report in 6 weeks' time. Stuff like that doesn't, CTV is best linear, like we said earlier, as a performance marketing channel because you can get this data in real time and transparently. Not all platforms offer that, but it is something that Mountain Performance TV does offer. 30% of the objections we heard was that measuring ad performance is a challenge. Again, kind of touched on this a second ago. Google Analytics, we actually, Mountain Performance TV has Google Analytics integration, which I think is really cool because it allows you to take in your data from your performance TV campaigns and see how they're running alongside all your other campaigns holistically. So you're not just looking at your CTV ads in a vacuum. You're seeing how they are working across the landscape, right? We also have cross-service measurement. So this allows you to target an ad and kind of target an ad and follow, so to speak, that customer across multiple services. If you certain CTV platforms, or if you're buying directly from services, you're kind of locked into maybe that ecosystem. So here, if somebody's watching on one service, they're watching a show, and you serve an ad, and then I'm going to hop over and watch the hottest show on another service. We are able to hop on over there and continue that conversation using your ads and through retargeting. Best of all, these viewers, they watch the ad and they are able to, we're able to track when they see the ad and then when they take the next step and engage with your brand. So let's say they watch the ad, 10 o'clock at night, they're watching their favorite show, they see your ad, they're interested. A few days later, they're at work and they're thinking about it, I need to look into this. And they go to your website or engage with their brand. We are able to look at that and confirm that there has been engagement on that and show that, again, your ad spending is paying off. This is not just firing ad dollars off into the ether and hoping it returns some kind of return on your investment. And then we have audience segment reporting. This is interesting. It gives performance data to each audience segment. This really kind of helps paint a picture of your high value customers. And again, zero in on the people who are likely to convert. You're able to kind of find the VIPs of your customers, the people who are most likely to be bringing in, generating revenue or be coming to your organization, and kind of optimize the targeting to drive better performance. This one's actually kind of near and dear to my heart. Objection, the CTV education. 38% of respondents told us that they don't know enough about CTV. They don't know how to use it. They don't know where to start. Again, we talked earlier just a second ago about not even having creative. I think that's a barrier in itself. But then even if you get that, there's a lot of people just don't even know how to use the platform, how to make effective ads, what to do. We heard that a while ago and decided to really kind of give this a solution for this. This is available to anyone. Anybody here can, whether you're a Mountain customer or not, can go read go to Mountain Labs and Mountain Research. We have introduced Mountain Labs, this cutting edge industry leading research and knowledge sharing program. And the Mountain Research is it's like an analytical report hub out of there. So again, you can go to Mountain Research today. You can get data-driven insights and analytical reports on advertiser trends, consumer insights, ad analysis. All of this is completely free. There's no sales pitch. It's purely educational. And kind of think of it as a service, right, to other advertisers. I think there's a lot of interesting data to glean here. We're going to be talking about some in a bit. And it's a great resource, regardless if you are with us or not. I really encourage everybody to go to Mountain Research and see what we're doing over there. 25% worry that they can't target CTV ads precisely. Again, if you're using direct mailers, linear TV ads, community events, these other kind of mainstays of financial service marketing, you're probably not used to getting that great of targeting and measurement. Mountain we solve this by letting you build your audience with first-party data or segments powered through Oracle Data Cloud. That's giving you access to over 80,000 audiences at no extra charge. And then we also have additional things like this. We have our additional features. We have affinity-based targeting. This is actually, I think, a really exciting one. And I think everybody in marketing advertisers are going to be hearing more about this in the next year as CTV kind of reaches the next iteration. Affinity-based targeting, it really allows you to kind of target and deliver ads to your audience that have shown interest in what you have to offer or your competitors. So it finds people who are interested in maybe Is it maybe they've engaged with your direct competitor on the other side of town? Maybe they are, if they're looking at auto loans, they're looking at a few different banking institutions and trying to find the right fit for them. This finds this audience and delivers ads to them. I think this is going to change the game in a lot of ways. If you are not using affinity-based targeting, excuse me, you have to be aware that your competitors might be using it. So it's great for finding your competitors. And it's great for your competitors to be finding your audiences and you're not using it, right? So it's very important to be kind of leveraging these capabilities. And then geo-targeting. This allows you to target an audience in a specific geographical location, like zip code. So if you, again, you're a local bank, credit union, insurance provider, you want to target audiences specifically based on what's going on in the community, what's going on, maybe an event nearby, or just seasonally, you want to something that speaks to the winter in northern states, but you don't really want to deploy that in the Sun Belt or vice versa. You're able to use geo-targeting to kind of really create a personalized ad experience for the viewer. And then 20% told us they struggle to place ads on premium inventory. And this, again, all these objections I think make sense. If you are using CTV, if you've, I don't know if you've gone on a Roku or any of these other services, you look at how many channels are available, and there's just hundreds of thousands of channels for every niche you could possibly imagine. And so, deploying your ad on spatula enthusiast is not going to maybe find your audience the way you hoped, right? You want to be on the big networks. You want to be with the big shows. We have the solution for this through a few different things. We have living room quality. And this ensures that your ads are only shown on premium top tier networks with their hottest shows on the biggest screen in the home, the TV. And then we also use the private marketplace, also known as a PMP. And that's just to purchase inventory. Without going too much into the weeds on this, this allows you to kind of protect against ad fraud. I'm sure a lot of people have seen stories where, these smaller channels or maybe less reputable ad inventory channels, they're deploying ads on, like I said, these niche networks that nobody's watching. And they're gaming the system that way, right? At Mountain, you don't have that problem because you are being seen on these networks that you're able to prove you're being seen on these huge networks that are really driving returns. And it offers the best price as well. So it's kind of this multi-pronged benefits to using a PMP. I really strongly encourage anybody who is using CTV to pursue that, something like that. So I kind of just talked about objections. I did talk about how Mountain solves for a lot of those objections. I think at the end of the day, there are a lot of CTV ad software solutions, but not all of them are created equal. Many are just focusing on impressions and reach. And honestly, you might as well be on linear, right? I mean, it's the whole point of this platform is being able to be digital and being able to give you the power of paid search and social, the targeting and measurement of social media with the high impact ads of linear TV. To not take advantage of that is a really wasted opportunity and kind of, it's like having a high-end sports car just parking in the garage and never leaving. So our platform maximizes CTV. I kind of talked about a few of these, but live your own quality, the cross-device verified visits, Google Analytics integration. We do a customizable dashboard. You're able to focus on the metrics that matter most to you. So if your team is looking at specific metrics for how your ads are performing, you're able to really double down on that and focus. We did A/B testing. You're able to deploy multiple ads, see which one's performing best, and then transfer all your focus to that. So again, all these things are features that give you the power and the access to the knowledge to make sure every ad dollar is really hitting its mark. It's, as I said at the beginning of this presentation, the CTV in general is the most financially conscientious platform there is, right? And I think performance TV takes it one step further by really offering these things that make sure that every ad cent spent is being used wisely. So 4 takeaways I kind of want to really drill down on today. One is that 2022, again, it's CTV's biggest year yet. I think I say that, and we've been saying that, and then I look at what's coming up in 2023, and I'm like, we're gonna be saying this again, because 2023 is just really gonna, I think it's gonna stomp all over 2022, which is wild when you think about where this platform has come from to where it is today. I just said it, but the platform CTV is financially friendly, it's cost effective, but it's also powerful. It's, it's fiscally minded, but it has that oomph to really be driving conversions. It's not just like this financially friendly alternative. It kind of checks all those boxes, right, for making every cent count. Senior financial marketers are using the platform, as we saw with the data that it gave. They're using it to grow their market share and complement existing ad strategies. And then again, not all CTV advertising solutions are created equal, but the right one is going to unlock so many opportunities for advertisers, especially in this space, in the financial space in 2023 and beyond. And I believe that is it. We are taking Q&As at this moment.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Stephen, for all that valuable information. And now let's dive into some questions. So let's see here. Okay, so one of them I see is, we're a B2B bank. Is CTV still an effective channel for our more niche audience?
Absolutely. It's interesting because I talked about how CTV is, financial service firms can really stick out in CTV. When you think about your ads and you watch TV, you don't probably see a lot of ads at the moment really targeting, insurance and banks and mortgages and things like this. That is changing. Like I said, we looked at the data on that, but there's an opportunity, as I said earlier, for financial firms to really kind of stand out from the crowd. If you're in a B2B, that ability to stand out from the crowd is threefold now. Because again, as rare as you really don't see a lot of business pitches, right, on TV. I think, again, that's changing, but that's really going to drive make a lot of people kind of sit up and take notice. I also think that, how often you get cold calls and emails, unless there's things, I can speak for myself. I know I get dozens of sales pitches, emails, and calls and things like this. And the busy workday, sometimes I have meetings, back to back, right? And they get buried in the inbox, they get buried in the voicemail, and it takes a while to get back to. I think a lot of this gets even innocently forgotten. It gets buried in there. CTV is kind of really able to make that impact because you're not approaching people during the workday. You're not maybe when they're focused on other tasks at hand. And how many people, not everybody's checking work emails at the end of the night. You're really putting your best foot forward and having a conversation by coming into the home with the audience while they're relaxed, watching their favorite show. Think about these TV shows that people love, they look forward to every week, or they're binge watching, and they're having a good time, they're relaxed, they're more receptive to these kind of ads, and you're able to kind of really make an impression that way. And again, CTV it allows these brands to target the right audience. So everything we said earlier about targeting and measurement, all of that still applies to B2B brands, but I think just an even greater opportunity to stand out from the crowd.
Thank you. So yeah, the next one I see here is, oh, it's kind of funny. Isn't CTV mostly used by a younger audience like Gen Z? Would it be valuable for a brand dealing with retirement funds or asset management?
I was wondering if this would come up. It's funny. It is funny. It's a platform that we do associate maybe with younger audiences, right? You think about streaming, you think about tech and all those kind of things, and how it's been adopted. And yes, millennials and Gen Z are streaming a lot of content. I don't think that's going to shock anybody. But at the same time too, we recently did I was talking about Mountain Research. We recently did a study on there, or a piece on there, that looked at audience's age and how they're using CTV. This stuff's pretty surprising. I was surprised. It was over half of all 65 and up audiences are streaming content. We have 55% or I'm sorry, 20% of adults 55 and older cut the cord last year. That 20% is an increase from 8% the year before. So we are seeing 55 and up audiences cut the cord, and it's doubling year over year, right? And you think about it, it kind of makes sense. It's all these platforms have must-see content. All this stuff is everybody's kind of talking about right now. I know, my parents are watching Yellowstone. My friends are watching Yellowstone. Everybody's kind of watching these shows that are popular. Or we have reboots of shows like Quantum Leap and things like this from the past that are coming back around. There's a lot of must-see content that it doesn't matter what age you're at. You want to be entertained and watch and be part of that conversation. We're also looking at the fact that streaming is more accessible than ever. It doesn't matter. My 92-year-old grandpa has access to OTT devices in his house. I think a lot of any TV you buy today is a smart TV. A lot of audiences, it doesn't matter what age you're at, have Fire Sticks or game consoles or anything like this. And then finally, you think about the retirement crowd, and you think about fixed incomes, right? And you look at again, like I said a minute ago, everybody wants to be entertained. You look at the rising cost of cable TV bundles, and they are rising. Streaming is rising. There have been some price increases in the last year, but they're nowhere near on the same cost. And you're able to maybe pick the channels on streaming that you want. You're able to focus on the networks that matter most instead of getting a whole bunch of bundles of channels you're not watching. So I think for audiences who want to be entertained, they're able to get access to this for less. And they're still able to be part of the conversation. And that's, I think, driving the cord cutting here. Excuse me. I think for financial brands, that's a great opportunity because, again, you have this huge swath of audience ages and demographics. And as I said earlier, you can target these people, right? So if you are, let's say you want to target your PMF tools, or you want to target how your banking institution or apps are mitigate risk and fraud, or you want to look at, financial wealth and management. You can target baby boomers. You can target the audiences that are maybe more receptive to that, and that's going to click more. At the same time, and you could even run multiple ads at the same time here. You could target millennials, and you can look at maybe younger families who are looking at mortgages, more interested in mobile app and banking and these things like this. So you can really tailor your messaging and kind of deploy it across the spectrum on CTV, regardless of what age you're targeting. But those ads are going to hit the right target audience every time.
Great. So we have a couple questions that just came in from the audience. So one of them is, will ads be streamed on Netflix, YouTube TV, Disney, Hulu, Fox, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC? So the big guns?
Yeah, all the big guns are deploying ads. Like I said, every major streaming service now is using advertising or streaming ads in some form or capacity. I think once Disney starts on Thursday. I think Netflix, like I said, they just launched their ads. I think that has been a big game changer and sea change for streaming in general. And then, as I said earlier, Mountain Performance TV is getting you on those premium top tier networks. You're able to deploy ads and get in front of the audiences that are watching this hot content on the biggest name channels, on the biggest name services, and getting in front of them.
Thank you. And then another question that just came in was, another provider noted that big spenders can get the prime show slots because they buy directly and don't have to bid. How do you get around that and get living room shows, as you say?
Yeah, so again, it goes back to the PMP. It allows you to, in a financially friendly way, because we're able to maybe get ad inventory at less cost, get seen on those networks without spending the money, remotely near the money you would on linear television ads. I do think that's a hurdle. A lot of times, anybody who's ever looked at linear TV ads, like I was saying earlier, it's like, unless you have the big budgets, you are really kind of locked into maybe time slots or TV shows that are not drawing the biggest crowds, right? And even then, you have to take that data and then try to find out, okay, well, who are we targeting? What are they likely to be watching? What time do you think they're going to be watching? Are they going to, you're going to know if they're going to pay attention to your ad? And CTV mitigates that. Mount Performance TV mitigates that by using the PMP to get onto those large networks for less cost and find that audience every time. Like I said, you're not sitting there and going, okay, well, this particular demographic is, let's say 30-year-olds looking at auto loans. Okay, what show are they going to be watching? Well, what do you would think they're going to be watching at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on network TV? Or, you're trying to figure all this out. It takes all that guesswork out, and you're able to just hit that audience every time, regardless of what they're watching at what time of day.
Okay, thank you. And so, okay, so we have time for one more question. And this is actually something worth thinking about. So this question is, don't people try to avoid ads? With every streaming service serving them, won't people just block them or get sick of them?
This is I like this question because it makes sense, right? You think about advertising and how people are kind of looking for ways around that. You think about ad blockers, or people kind of detest advertisements. It would make sense that maybe CTV, with so many channels right now, is driving people away. They're getting exposed to more ads. But we've actually had data, found data that shows that the inverse is true. I personally think, honestly, that people don't like advertising. They just don't like bad advertising or ads that are not relevant to them. Again, CTV gets around that by serving ads that are relevant to the audience. If you're watching this, if you think about the stuff you're interested in, you think about the sports teams or the products or the activities you're into. What if a lot of ads, or what if most of the ads you were seeing were of that particular genre? You'd be interested, right? Ads would be more exciting. It's when ads don't apply to you that they're less interesting. I think that, so that's a big part of it. We're also seeing that 15 to 30-second ads that we use on performance TV, they're unskippable as well. So and they're over quickly. They make an impression. They're unskippable. And as I said earlier, audiences are willingly signing up. They're signing up for ad-supported offerings in exchange for access to must-see content for less, right? So when somebody signs up for Netflix ads, or they're signing up for Disney Plus ads or whatever, they are kind of entering into a contractual agreement that, okay, I'm going to be paying less a month to get access to Andor or The Mandalorian or whatever, and they're going to be getting ads in return. So, you kind of have an audience that's getting ads that are interesting to them. They are relevant, and they're agreeing to see these. They're willingly signing up. They're getting something out of it. And I think that's the big thing here, is that other ad channels, it's intrusive. It's kind of annoying. It's not applicable. It's something you didn't ask for. You go to a website, you're maybe not asking for it. CTV, it's like, it's an agreement, it's an understanding. And we've seen some stats on this that 47% of all viewers are more willing to share information for ads that are personally customized to them. I think we had like 79%, so they prefer ad-supported CTV viewing over paying more a month for services. So we have the data that shows that audiences are down for this, that it doesn't bother them. And again, I think it comes back to the fact that these ads are relevant to the viewers.
Very awesome. And I guess to conclude this and to leave us on a positive note, what advice, if you could sum it up, what advice would you have for a credit union ready to advertise on CTV for the first time?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I think the big thing is you have to think about strategy. Strategy is really the driving force behind this. It's not enough to just deploy an ad on CTV and hope that it finds its mark. As we talked about earlier, you have affinity-based targeting and audience segment reporting and all these tools. But I really encourage advertisers to think about who their target audience is. Think about who they are looking to defined and reach and how they're measuring the campaign performance, and kind of build out from there. I think CTV has this data-driven feedback loop, right? Through targeting and measurement, you're able to deploy an ad, target to an audience, see how it's performing, and then you can optimize or update creative to maximize the opportunity and kind of respond to how the audience is responding. And I think it's this performance marketing mindset. We talked about how the platform is a performance marketing tool, and a performance marketing mindset allows you to kind of take that tool and take it further. I'd also think about how CTV is going to fit into your existing ad strategies. I would suggest kind of, looking at, again, like we talked about earlier, digital ad spend increasing. What does that look like? How does CTV going to fit into that? Google Analytics integration that I mentioned earlier is a great opportunity to kind of see holistically how it's fitting into your other campaigns. But I think from a strategy perspective and a budgeting perspective, that's worth it. And then again, like I said earlier, you don't need giant budgets to get on CTV. We talked again about creative as a subscription. We talked about quick frame. And we talked again about the PMP and being able to deploy ads for less and on the top tier networks. There's really no barrier to entry for brands to get onto TV anymore. This previously was a channel that I think that was kind of this pie in the sky. Oh, wouldn't that be great to one day make it big and be big enough to afford TV ads? You can do that now. There's no sitting around and waiting for that. So yeah, I think, thinking strategically and one more thing I would say about that as well is creative refreshes, just making sure that your ads are updated regularly. We think about how many times you see ads that you see over and over and over again, and it kind of loses its effectiveness, right? So it's kind of like I said, it's building this roadmap. It's thinking strategically how you're going to use the ads, how you're going to deploy them, and keep ads fresh and kind of drive engagement and measure performance. And hopefully everything that I discussed today with CTV as a channel in general, and then Mountain Performance TV and the tools that we have, shows you that it's pretty darn easy to go ahead and do that, to think strategically and build at that roadmap. Like I said, these roadblocks, we've worked very, very hard to remove as many roadblocks as we can for people getting on TV. And I think the thought of, TV's not in the cards for us this year. It's not really a statement or excuse anymore.
All right, well, with that, thank you so much to everyone from our audience for joining us today, and also a huge round of applause to Stephen for an amazing session today. And also, if you'd like, please take a minute after this webinar to fill out a short survey to let us know how we did. And you can look forward to receiving an on-demand link to this presentation directly to your email inbox as well, so keep a lookout for that. So with that, I'll bring this program to an end. On behalf of Mountain, Future Digital Finance, and the WBR Insights team, we thank you so much for your time today, and we hope you have a great day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.